So what do you think about the globalizing of entertainment?
Globalizing entertainment.
What do you think about the globalizing of entertainment? Earlier today, I was watching an interview through Variety or something, a video interview on YouTube of Bad Bunny, and he was just talking about how he never had the goal of being famous. Kind of harped on that some more. Said all he wanted to do was do what he loved. Um, it's a two-part question, but do you love the movement of the globalization of entertainment? Do you feel like it's open opportunities even for you? Do you feel like it's made things more difficult? What's your idea of that? Your thought of it.
What do you mean by globalizing entertainment? Do you mean like things that are coming outside of America?
Right.
For example, Parasite,
Right,
that movie,
exactly. Yeah.
Alice in Borderlands, Squid Games,
All that.
And then you have artists like Bad Bunny, who's a global sensation, but he's not from the United States. He's from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Which is a territory, but he's not from the United
He's not the
States.
States, right?
Okay, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
It's not all talent comes from the United States.
Right.
It comes from other different countries.
Right.
There are actors in other countries who are better than actors here. We just don't know about them.
It's true.
And if you think about it, all the best actors in the industry are from England. They're from the United Kingdom in general.
Do you think all the best ones are from England?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. No doubt about it. It's like the ones that we see the most. I mean, think about it. Who are the most prolific names? Eddie Redmayne, he's an Oscar winner. Daniel Day-Lewis is regarded as one of the best actors of all time.
And why do you think the UK has so many good actors?
Because they're trained classically. They start in theater, which you can call the mother of all acting, or the father of all acting.
Right.
And then they eventually go into TV and film, but they have their system, or their system, their society is built off the theater, while ours is built off TV, television.
Okay.
So because they're trained classically, and they started way younger.
I was about to say the other 10,000. Sounds like the other 10,000 hours in sooner.
Yeah, Tom Holland started when he was like 4 or 5, but his
really?
dad was an actor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tom Holland.
Yeah, his dad was like an actor or something, or a producer, but his dad was heavily involved in the theater and everything. So, that got Tom involved in it.
Right.
And also they have a lot more universities. Like they have some of the best acting schools for master's programs in the world.
In the world, right.
Check this out. Michael Fassbender and Tom Hardy. Do you know those two names?
Of course.
They went to the same school. They went to the same acting school. Tom Hardy said that Michael Fassbender was the best actor in the entire program. Now you see why.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found that interesting. A lot of these actors who came up together, a lot of these British actors who you see a lot of, like especially the most famous ones, all went to the same school.
Wow.
But it's also very hard to get into those schools. And not everyone who goes to those schools are successful.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there. But the globalization of talent, it's always been here. Just like what I said about Black stories before, why they're being told out. It's always been there with Boys in the Hood,
right.
Friday, Poetic Justice. It's always been there. It's just now it's catching more attention.
I see.
Because of the culture that we live in, we're more accepting to, not me and you, we've been accepting to it, but more people are more accepting to other perspective and different stories.
Yeah, that's what I used to say that about Bad Bunny's success. I know Selena's not reggaeton or anything like that, but she was also really popular for Latin music here in the States. And J Balvin actually is the one who broke through musically here in the States with Mi Gente. Probably like 2016, 2017. Despacito, of course, was big here as well. But we already were getting onto that Latin wave. And at that point, all we needed is a face to spearhead it. And the face that ended up being spearheaded and now looks like the industry leader was Benito, or aka Bad Bunny. And that all came with his consistency. Him starting his consistent build of his catalog was at the perfect time. And all made for the perfect storm, where he's now in position to be leading this globalization of Latin music. And that's important when it comes to positioning yourself. That's why consistency is so important, because you have to build that catalog. You have to be prepared to capitalize on that opportunity. Very few people are prepared to do so, and that's the best part about it. For those one or two people who are prepared to take that all the way.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, though. because you also have to be talented as well. You also have to be good, and I know that's what you meant about the 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can spend the 10,000 hours practicing the wrong way.
Oh, okay,
Because
that's true.
I know a very popular producer. Well, not popular. I know a producer in St. Louis who's been making music for years, trying to break into the industry for years.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing at all.
Right.
That's not from. And if you listen to some of his stuff, it's not the greatest.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even though he spent his entire life, he's like 37, 38, probably in his 40s now. He's been doing it since he was like 18, probably a little bit younger than that.
Right.
So it's all about making sure when you do those 10,000 hours, make sure you're being trained properly or practicing the right way.
Yeah, 10,000 hours is not just showing up. 10,000 not just showing up physically. 10,000 hours means showing up mentally as well, spiritually and emotionally. So what he's been showing up for 10 years just physically. That's not enough. You have to show up there mentally as well to take critique. And the 10,000 hour rule is so concrete. It's been proven time and time again, airtight, that if you put in those 10,000 hours, you will be a specialist in whatever said field. Now, the question is, how are you showing up? That's back to that. And people lie about the time they're committing to things. So that's another thing about it. So don't ever get gassed up or believe that someone put in 10,000 hours just because they said it. We look at the stats, and it's really 3,700 hours.
Yeah.
And it's really 30% of what they said it was. They're eating, they're watching YouTube, they're doing a bunch of other things that you see their time was going to. It was not going to that said field they claimed it was. But those who put towards the said field they claim it is, that's where you get the Michael Jacksons at. Michael Jackson dethroned Elvis at the time when he was 5 years old. When the Jackson 5 came out, they're the ones who dethroned Elvis in Vegas. And so with that, he had 10,000 hours in. At 22, this artist made the most iconic album known as Thriller. Who else could have made Thriller at the age of 22 but Michael Jackson? Not a single soul.
Maybe Prince.
Maybe Prince.
Maybe
the other guy who had 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
But that's it. There's no one with 1,600 hours. There's no one with 3,000 hours. No one with 4,000 hours that could moonwalk, do Billie Jean in the Pasadena Theater and get a standing ovation and continue being innovative in not only music but in dance and performance in general. No one else is positioned to do that because no one positioned themselves to do that. And so that 10,000 hour thing is sound tight, and you can get away with anything above 10,000 hours. I mean, that's the idea. We hope it goes beyond 10,000.
Right.
You're not getting away with anything less.
10,000 is the minimum.
That's the minimum. And 10,000 equates to 10 years on average. So 10,000 is like 10 years in a certain field. And that's why you see everyone blow up within 10 years. They say Hollywood's a 10-year game at minimal. The reason why they say that is because that goes back to that 10,000 hour studies that we have found, and we've tracked all different fields of professions, and it all leads and equates to that number, oddly enough.
Yeah.
Somehow heaven knows the price of all of its goods. We don't know why, we don't know how, but the universe just knows what patterns and what things you have to break to enter a new sphere. I tell people it's like this. I'm gonna speak about this a lot and something I'm writing, but we're all susceptible to the law of gravity. We're all in the law of gravity right now. And for the longest, we believed, since Newton has put a name to it, we believed that gravity was the law that we'll always be in, which is true. But then the Wright brothers came around, and they made the law, and they decided to break the law of gravity and enter a new law of aerodynamics. When they enter the new law of aerodynamics, you start getting things called accumulative advantages, which I'll talk about time and time again, where they can fly 600 miles per hour. They can get from one destination to another much quicker. Even though you're underneath the new laws, the newfound law that you're benefiting from, aerodynamics, you have never really escaped the law of gravity. You've capitalized on it. You're utilizing it to your advantage. But with that, you still can crash, you still can burn, you still can lose it all. That goes for a lot of the rappers we lost in the past year. They were in the law of aerodynamics. They're accumulating wealth at a whole new speed. But they thought they escaped the law of gravity, and one misstep can bring you back down in even worse position, get you crashing.
Buried in the ground.
And so 10,000 hours puts you break into that law of aerodynamics. Now it's up to you to maintain it.